Perhaps you have heard me talk about the ATMAN, your true, eternal, electromagnetic, eternal self, your light body, your energy matrix, the ATMAN, consciousness, that portion of consciousness, of energetic spirit that resides within all of us. ATMAN, the soul, the electromagnetic energy signature that is who we are in essence. And perhaps you've marveled or wondered, or perhaps you have not. Perhaps you've merely dismissed it as the ravings of a lunatic, as a mad person, or someone who's perhaps read too much. But no, I want to share with you, dear, esteemed, honorable, noble, and notable viewer, as in the fact that you have notated the reality, the veracity, the truth of the ATMAN. And if you have not, then let me share this experience with you, because I know that it exists. I know, based on my gnosis, my experience of what I am at my core. And the experience goes like this. It was a event with Sadhguruji. Perhaps you've heard of this individual. But Sadhguru and his Udana pranayama activation, sadhana. It was an online event where he spoke, and he spoke for a few hours. It was a quite lengthy event, but at the culmination of this event, I guess, was a type of initiation that he shared with everybody who was in attendance and who watched this online. But it was essentially Udana pranayama activation. And it was quite involved, and it was difficult. At the beginning, it was roughly around October 2022, I believe. It was cool inside my place where I was at, fan going. But at the culmination of this event, I was drenched in sweat. It was a very involved, intricate breathing ritual routine that lasted for about 45 minutes, as best as I can recollect. But very intense and involved placing, depending on what gender you were. If you were male, then you had placed your left hand over the mid portion of your thorax. And it involved sound, different types of mantra, different types of seed mantras that were sounds, specific sounds that were associated with certain energy vortices within your subtle body, your light body. But anyway, I can tell you this, that after this, or during this event, what came up into my awareness, my consciousness, was the fact that my awareness, my consciousness was slowly being drawn into a warm ball of fire. And it wasn't just a fire that was being seen in my third eye, it was being experienced throughout my whole body. And along with this vision of fire and was the sensation of ecstasy. And my ego, my awareness, my sense of self was being slowly drawn into that fire, the Shivaya void. And it wasn't anything that was fearful or caused as a source of anxiety. It was immense ecstasy of joy, of being slowly melted in one sense, but drawn into this awareness of this fire. And that, I realized, was at core who we all are, this ATMAN, this eternal fire, this eternal energy, a warm energy of ecstasy that in my mind's eye, my third eye, was being it was the vision of a sort of going into a fire, but it was also along with that awareness, but a melting, a diminishing of this sense of self, this ego, which gave way to a divine ecstasy that I understand as the ATMAN. Now that was a very intense experience, and I know, the exact steps that would it take to get back to that level of ecstasy experience, but suffice to say, it's enough that it's carried me on, with making videos about the Atman, the source of who we actually are. And I wanted to share that experience because the technique is there. I made a video with the exact steps and exactly how Sadhguru took the people in attendance for this activation, what all was involved in it, the exact steps and the methods and the breathing patterns and the exact mantras that were enunciated or spoken or chanted, along with the vibration and the energy. And it was also, it was a somewhat physically demanding experience, with the fact that you had to hold your arm at a certain level and angle for 30 minutes or so. But anyway, that is part of my gnosis. That is part of my reality, my experience, and that's a mystical experience. But it was very powerful, and what kept me from going in totally into that void of ecstasy was Sadhguru and this sound that he makes. And he talks about this, and it's how he knew that Shiva, who he is, that's his main deity or energy that he works with, and he started making this noise. It was almost like it was perfectly synchronicity that drew me back into that reality, and he closed down, or to this third dimension reality, back to this vibration, because all of consciousness, I was being melted into the Atman, who I am and who we are at our core self. Namaste. Namaskaram.